Last year, 13% of the Affordable Homes Programme from Homes England was spent on rural housing, which is a big improvement, which is fantastic. And we've been petitioning for a target. We used to have a target with Homes England on the amount of money of their Affordable Homes Programme that should be spent on rural housing. And they abolished it, and we've been petitioning for that to come back. They've actually re-established it now. It is only 10%. We asked them to increase it. We said, well, we achieved 13% this year, so why can't you give us 13 or more? I think in the paper Revitalising Rural Services Network published, they've asked for 17%, which reflects the population living in rural areas. But they've told us, you know, basically make do with the 13% this year, and if you achieve more, then we can look at it increasing it in future years. And there are fantastic schemes where housing associations have actually changed the dynamic of the village, have actually kept the community together, have actually developed beautiful housing which has enhanced the village, which have supported the services.
And this is all about the threshold for house builders to provide affordable housing as part of the developments that they do. And this threshold, we used to argue that it should not be there for rural areas. And when it was set at 10 homes, if you did less than 10 homes, you didn't have to do any affordable housing at all. We said in rural areas, this figure of 10 doesn't really work, because so many schemes are small schemes. And we want to get, even if it's only 2 or 3, we want to get some more affordable housing on the back of those developments by the house builders. Well, that 10 has now gone up to 40. This is very bad news. That's more or less all of the developments that aren't by the housing associations, that are by house builders. Nearly all of the developments will not have any affordable housing in them. This is only for 18 months, supposedly, but I know how these things drag on, and it will be popular with some of the house builders not to have to do any affordable housing. Some of them, of course, will do 3 lots of 40, just squeezing in time after time, do a development of 120 homes probably, without any affordable housing. This is bad news, and I hope this measure will be lifted pretty quickly.
Also obviously concerned about entry-level exception sites as well. So where the exception sites policy used to be affordable housing for local people, now it can be entry-level to buy. Obviously, we want to encourage anybody that can buy to be able to get a foot on the housing ladder, but not at the expense of those people that can't afford to buy. And affordable housing, especially social rented housing, affordable housing is 80% of the market rent. And sometimes that is unaffordable for a lot of local people. These people are employed in part-time, seasonal jobs. A lot of rural communities are, with low wages as well. And so affordable rent sometimes is unaffordable. And so we need social rent as well.
We're going to divide the country into 3 zones. One where planning consent is going to be pretty easy to get, growth areas. One where renewal is the theme, that's existing towns where you'll more or less go through the same processes as now. Regeneration schemes of that kind in urban areas, mostly on the edge of them, and then protected areas where nothing is likely to happen at all. There is a danger, I think, that the small village schemes will all find themselves in a protected area where we could do with 6 homes is not going to make a huge difference to the green belt or anything else, and make a huge difference to the life of the community in the village. Small schemes, particularly by social landlords, would, I think, absolutely justify being exempted from this protected status, which otherwise may close things down altogether. I think the rural exceptions, in a way, this squares all the circles. We know what we want. We want affordable housing for local people, old and young. We've got the housing associations ready to deliver, but land is so expensive, it throws all the sums and makes it impossible. So rural exception sites, squares the circles, we get the land cheaply, everything can fall into place.
What's happening is there's no properties that for younger people that they can afford. They're moving out, so the older people left in villages are becoming more isolated, and also, you know, a cost to the state, because instead of the informal care networks that are already established, they end up looking to the local authorities to provide that care and support, which has a cost. And as we know, service provision in rural areas is very expensive as well. There's no economies of scale, there's great distances, etc., etc. So, you know, the benefit of providing affordable accommodation to enable young people to remain in the village is not only providing them a home, but it's also helping the whole community to be sustainable.